It's time for a big intercooler upgrade. The $89 intercooler versus the $50. Let's do it. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, my name's Matt. Consider subscribing because we got some cool stuff going on here with the 1.8 Chevy Cruze, but I got an upgraded intercooler for the build so that way we can reach our horsepower goals. Let's dive into it. I'm definitely not going to slam this one on the table because, I mean, after all, it is an intercooler. And a huge shout out to the folks at eParts GoGo on eBay. I'll leave a link down in the description. Man, they really took care of me. Even though this is a fairly inexpensive intercooler, it was $89. And long story short, the first package they sent me, it must have been a return that got shipped out. It was all beat up. I'll leave the video here and just kind of show you the condition of it. But man, it was banged up, but they took care of me. Sent me a return label. As soon as they saw movement on that, they sent me a replacement. So let's see if this one is any better. Fingers crossed. So here we go. We got some hardware to mount the thing, which makes things a little easier. Okay, yeah, that is much better. The other one, man, that thing was beat up. I'm gonna bring y'all in for a little bit closer review. But here we are. This one's capped off. Looks pretty good. Not too shabby for 80 something bucks. It is polished, not that I really care that it's polished because these things are tucked away. It's a tube and fin style. Looks like everything is, or is, what am I trying to say here? Everything is just like it should be, I guess. But this is a huge upgrade to the core that I currently have in the car. One of the things that I liked about this was the fact that the entrance point is in the middle here. I never really feel like the ones that have the entry lower down, like the airs, it's gonna make full use of the core. I feel like this will make better use of the entire core. Plus the intercooler that's currently on the car, which we'll go mock this up and see how it will kind of fit under the bumper. It was kind of high up and really wasn't getting some direct airflow. So this will put some more of the intercooler where it will get some more direct airflow and be a little more efficient. And this one is rated up to, I think, 600 CFM, which will be plenty for our, God, I can't speak today, horsepower goals. Plenty for our horsepower goals. You got it, Matt. It does have a 3-inch opening, and it's got a couple mount points here, and it's got this lovely little JDM logo stamped into it, which I don't really care about, but not bad all in all for something really cheap. It's not the best construction, but we are doing this on the budget, so this should suit my needs nicely. I also just ended up getting another intercooler piping setup. I'm gonna redo it and I'll explain how I plan on setting this all up. I know I talked about doing a water to air, but the more I thought about it, this is just gonna be simpler. I may do the water to air thing later down the road, but one of my concerns is with all this cheap eBay stuff, you have to excuse the mess here where work's been pretty busy and I do all my stuff up here at the shop related to the car. But anyhow, I just didn't want to take a chance of a water to air intercooler bursting. That was one of the cons that I kind of read about. Aside from, to me, it wasn't a big deal with, but I did read that, you know, if the thing fails, essentially you're gonna shoot water right down your intake, and I didn't want to risk that until, I don't know, maybe I can find a better quality product rather than it being some sort of cheap intercooler, you know what I mean? At least with the air to air, if we got a boost leak, it's not that detrimental or near as detrimental to the engine as if water just shot down the intake. Anyhow, and one of the reasons I got this, not only so I can reroute everything, the other setup has oil all through it. Just oil everywhere. And somebody's jamming outside. 418's bumping. Here we go. This was fairly inexpensive. I'll leave a link down to what I got here, but essentially it's another eBay intercooler kit. The other one, just really wasn't happy with it because it had a lot of sand in it. Like it had sand just caked up in there from them doing the bending. And I decided I wanted to change the color of it because I do like how the polished aluminum looks with the black and white accents. I saw, must have been the Boosted Boys, but I saw a setup where it was on a white Honda Civic and I was like, man, that looks pretty good rather than all the black. It's a little flashier, but so this is 2.5 inch. Comes with everything you need to set things up. So let's go over to the car, take the front bumper cover off, open up the hood, and I'll kind of we'll talk about what I think or how I think I'm going to set it up this time around. Oh, almost forgot. Because I am setting things up a little differently. I had already opened this up, but this is a intake tube. And I'm going to try and set it up more like, excuse me. I'm going to try and set it up a little bit more like how the 1.4 is set up. The only exception is my inlet to my intake is on the other side. But I got a 7.5 inch piece of aluminum intake tubing. But here's the kicker, guys. Here's the kicker. And girls. If you follow me on Instagram, which is Matthew Chevalier Instagram, I bought this separately, which is a honeycomb air straightener. And basically what this is going to help with is straightening the air. I'm going to have the mass airflow sensor a couple inches down. This will be the intake part of it, and then this is where I'm going to mate it up to the turbo. So this will help straighten it out past the airflow sensor, the mass airflow sensor. I'm sure I'm going to get it right one of these days. But I got this. This was 25 bucks. I believe this little piece here was I don't know, maybe 30 bucks. I forget. I'll leave a link to all this stuff. But this is 2 3/4 inch, which is the same diameter as the stock tubing, which will just make tuning with the mass airflow sensor that much easier versus initially I had like a 3-inch piece and it just, man, it threw the sensor all off. So, and I doubt this will restrict us whatsoever. From my understanding, we can get quite a lot of horsepower even through a 2.5 inch tubing before it starts becoming a restriction. So this will definitely help with the tuning. You'll see as videos go on how this thing ends up coming together. That's the direction I'm going in with it now. Alright, we got our bumper cover off, and what I was talking about is there is a opening here in the front bumper cover in my intercooler. The way it's currently set up with this tiny little guy here is it hardly, I think maybe about this much of it was protruding down into that opening. So with this new intercooler, it will hang down a little bit lower, still will be with inside the bumper cover. You can see where it goes through here. It will just extend down further and allow for some more airflow to go through. I don't know if you can see that, but this is all pretty much jacked from our previous problem with our PCV. The entire thing is just lined with oil, so I just want to do away with that and start fresh. So I'm going to take the current intercooler off and we're going to mock it up, see how it looks, see how it fits compared to size. Let's do it. Alright, we got our previous intercooler off. Let's see if we got anything that comes out. Yeah, there we go. That's definitely not something I want in my intake. You can see some oil just sitting right back there. This cord's still usable. I'm gonna hold on to this for another project down the road. But here's the size difference between the two. I mean, just look at that. This thing's at least 3 times bigger. At the moment, I do have this just balanced up on a block of wood, but that is much bigger. I may have to, depending on how this all bolts up, the bolt patterns are a little different width-wise, but I may end up just cutting this front bumper to allow the airflow through it if it does happen to start tucking behind it. And it might a little bit. It's still gonna go up a few more inches. Again, I just have it sitting on a piece of wood, and these are the entry points here, so we'll probably have to get this up just a little bit higher to go through right here. Here's where the other entry point is right here. I mean, it's almost on par with where it was at to begin with, but this just is a bigger core. Once I get the engine in, we'll figure all this stuff out, but I just kind of wanted to mock it up, see if it's going to work out. I think it will. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Should I keep this intact, being that it is my daily driver and it's not going to be a trailer queen, or should I just cut it? We'll still have some, basically some portion of the bumper, but not all of it. Here's the old turbo. I'm just using this to illustrate how I'm going to set this up. Essentially this thing will be over here. The outlet of the intake side will be pointing down, and the way the stock 1.4 is it routes through here, goes through the intercooler, and then comes up through here. My issue is the fact that my intake's on the other side over there. So I'm thinking about just routing the tubing up and over the manifold and just kind of going into the intake. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Still figuring this stuff out. Obviously once we get the block in there, a little bit easier to kind of see how all this stuff will work. And last but not least, because the intake will be facing this side, we'll be able to utilize the fresh cold air charge that will come from over here. I am just going to have the filter here, but however, I might make a little something to scoop up some air down here. I'll figure that out as we go, just to get a cool charge of air. One of the issues I was having with my previous setup, which is probably no surprise when I had the intake coming on this side and the breather here, the air filter, my air intake temperatures were pretty high. They're about 177, so this should help drop it down. Not only that, but with the larger intercooler. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know what you guys and gals think down in the comments. Until next time. Oh wait, before we peace out, I've got another little upgrade there, but we'll cover that in the next video. So peace out with you. Peace out.